And we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Jump right into our main topic of the day, and it's another movie review. So, when we left, I knew when we left for Phase 3 for OCS, I knew that there were some really good movies getting ready to start coming out, and I was excited for all of them. Like I said, so we got to go see Twisters, got to see Deadpool 3. I actually saw Deadpool 3 twice. I went with my boys, and then I went with my girlfriend, and it was funny both times. And so Deadpool was good, but Alien Romulus came out, and it came out this Friday, or last Friday, and I was super excited to go see that. I went Saturday morning. And it was good. It's not the best, I think. The problem with sequels to any to the Alien franchise is, look, the original Alien was borderline a masterpiece because it was so, dare I say, alien. It was creepy. It was unexpected. You were just like, what is this thing? What is it doing? You weren't prepared for how the alien came to be. So it was all a mystery. That's why it was such a good title too, Alien. Everything was so alien. It was so foreign to us. We didn't know what to expect. And then you had Aliens with James Cameron, which is, like I said, I think, so in our order, it's Aliens, Alien, and then probably this new one, Alien Romulus. So, but yeah, Aliens was good because, this time it's war. So it was good. They went back and they fought the aliens because corporate greed. But yeah. This one is really good. I have an issue with the premise, though. Like you and I are on the same page about this, right, Chad? Like, they go and the opening sequence is like them extracting the destruction of the Nostromo, which is Ripley's ship from the first Alien.
Correct.
And somehow, in the wide world of sports, in the vastness of space, they were able to find amongst the debris the actual alien, which technically the alien wouldn't have been in the Nostromo debris field because Ripley jettisoned in the escape pod, and that could have been a ways away from the debris field. So, it's just like they're just cinematically it makes sense because you're like, oh wow, it's like the remains of the Nostromo. But like I said, when Ripley ejected the alien life form off of the Nostromo, or off of the Nostromo escape pod, she wasn't anywhere near the destruction of the Nostromo. So it's like in this massive debris field of space, it would have taken months for them to get to this debris field, maybe even years. But somehow the alien has worked its way to be amongst the debris field when it could have gone, a half a meter this way, half a centimeter this way, it could have floated off in the vastness of space, never to be seen again. But of course, somehow it cocoons itself, and they're able to locate this cocooned life form in the vastness of space amongst the debris field of the Nostromo. And that's kind of how the Romulus station, and then, after that, it's a mystery. Like, so then it's the story goes to what the trailer is, like these kids going up to this derelict space station to salvage, I guess, parts so they can get off of whatever
planet they're on.
They're on one of the LV planets, not LV-426, the one that they went to in Aliens, but they're all Weyland-Yutani contract employees, and they're basically slave labor to Weyland-Yutani, and they can't get off the planet unless they either complete their contract. But of course, the whole issue is they keep upping the time of service of these people's contracts. So it's kind of like, they're corporate slaves, and they're trapped on this planet to basically die in the mines, So I don't know how in the future corporate status works, but, you can't just arbitrarily change a term on contract. I mean, I don't know what kind of legal system they have in the future, but, maybe
clearly space communism.
Yeah, it's like, maybe communism wins, and, you're a slave to the Weyland-Yutani, except instead of, governmental communism, it's corporate communism.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's a silly premise, but like I said, if you're looking at it through any legal judicial system, you'd be like, they can't arbitrarily change a person's contract. How is this? How is that legal?
The law is still the law would theoretically still be a thing, but we don't know what type of government because
and I guess the corporations can be all corporation-y, and they can say, well, they're on a planet, they're not on Earth. The rules only apply on Earth, So I don't know. So it's all very strange, but still, though, the premise is good. It's like it makes for sympathetic character building, so that's why you do it that way. And again, Weyland-Yutani's always had a spotty track record with human rights. And again, the whole point, Alien is like, what's his name? I can't remember. What's the robot's name from the first one? I can't remember.
You mean Alien?
Ash, the science officer was Ash.
Oh yeah, Ash. Yeah.
And he was the synthetic, and like his prime directive was, protect the organism, forget about the crew. So that's the corporation's always like, again, it's the whole Jurassic World, like, let's weaponize the velociraptors. It's like, why would you do that? Yeah. Like, we have better weapons technology. Yeah. Like, you can't rely on these aliens to actually be able to be controlled.
Yeah. Why? Point and shoot is a better option than, tell this creature to go attack somebody.
Yeah, like, okay, so you put like a helmet on the aliens and they do their bidding. It's like, it's the perfect organism. Yeah, but they still blow up when you shoot them, so...
Mm-hmm. Can still nuke them from orbit, as they say in the second one.
Yeah, so it's so silly, the whole corporation trying to get a hold of this, I guess, like, for science.
For science.
So, but anyway, the movie overall is pretty good. Like, I mean, the two primary characters, they're brother and sister, but they're not really brother and sister. It's like a girl, and has a synthetic if you look at it from like a further out perspective, it's like she actually has an unhealthy relationship with an android. And I say not unhealthy. So I guess the better way to put it is she views this synthetic that her dad rebuilt as like a brother. And, it's kind of like so she's relying on it like she would rely on a family member. So it's a stand-in for her brother. She calls it her brother. So it's like you feel bad because you're like, that's a really unhealthy strategy moving forward in life. It's like I can't cope with whatever the loss of my father. So this robot I will take on, and it'll be my pseudo family member for the rest of my days. And so if you look at it, so I'm looking at it from like a moral perspective, but it's still a good it's a good story with that. So you like those two, and then everybody else is just kind of disposable.
It definitely pays homage to the original, like to all the OG Alien films.
Yeah, it pays homage to all the Alien films, 1, 2, 3, and even 4, Resurrection. So
yeah, definitely. Which it gets a little weird when it pays its homage
to Resurrection. Always, Resurrection is the black sheep. Aliens 3 was a disappointment, but it was still a decent Aliens film. But yeah, Resurrection, it just went right off the rails. I don't think it's a horrible Alien film, but at the same time, it's just like they delve into some science-y stuff where you're just like, that's so strange.
Like, especially like in the timeline, like in that timeline, they're supposed to have the Xeno Wars on Earth. So, the aliens have essentially taken over Earth, and all humanity has left Earth and nuked it from orbit. And what's their logic? Hey, let's rebuild these things and try to
go back to Earth.
Just like that makes zero sense.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were going to try to weaponize the aliens again to make them fight other aliens on Earth. So it's all dumb. It's all really, really dumb.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But, anywho, the film overall works. It's a good horror film. The problem is, I agree with some other reviewers I watched, like I said, besides the android or the synthetic and the girl, the main character girl, I guess the girl, the pregnant girl too, is kind of, she's not an annoying character, but it's just like, again, she's pregnant for the sake of the plot and pregnant for the sake of garnering more sympathy for her character because they're not developed very well. Yeah. And then all the other characters are just disposable. So they didn't do a great job of developing the other people. They just gave them annoying personality traits. Again, it's like you're almost rooting for them to go. You're like, yeah, he's going to get his here in a second. And you're just like, because he's a douche. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it still works, though, as a film. Again, you have to create... Not everybody's going to be a good person. The problem is you could have shown that they weren't good people instead of just being like, hey, he's just going to be a jerk the whole time, and then they have to do an exposition dump as to why he's a jerk. So, but yeah, it's a decent Aliens film. It's a decent horror film. Again, I think I'm with. I watched Mr. H reviews, and I think I agree with him. I think it's my third favorite Aliens film. I think it's Aliens, Alien, and then Alien Romulus, and then I'd probably go with Aliens 3, then Resurrection, as far as the order of how good they are. So, yeah, I'm trying to think. What do you want to delve in a little bit deeper into the plot, or?
I guess we can just don't really want to do spoilers, but yeah, just it's a decent, it's a good Alien movie.
Yes, it's a good. It's shot phenomenally. It's very well shot. It's very. I mean, the sets are gorgeous, phenomenal. Like, I mean, they're built very similar to how the original Aliens and Aliens was built. And the effects are good. I mean, except that obviously they look a little bit more modern and a little better. But yeah, no, that's just it's great. It's really good. You sympathize with the main character, though there's not a lot to her, and you just put people in a hostile environment and see what happens, and that's what makes horror so great. You're just like, oh, how do you win? And then they bring back a lot of the homage to basically everything. They have a pulse rifle in there. They have to do, they're dealing with the zero grav environment sometimes. So it's good. It's overall, I would say it was an enjoyable watch. The problem with all of this is, though, the comics do it better. In the comics, it's a lot like people who read the book. The book was better than the movie. It's like, oh, okay, what are you, book purist, But at the same time, it's like, it's true, though. It's like whenever I read Black Hawk Down, it's like, wow, this is way more detailed. This is way more. It's like, oh, there were a lot more moving parts than you got to see in the movie. Like, I mean, the 10th Mountain was there. They give credit to the 10th Mountain. They give credit to the PJs. They give more credit to other units that were working there in Mogadishu that came in to help. And so I understand why people are like, oh, yeah, the book was way more detailed. It's way better. You understand a lot more. Same with the comic books as far as alien lore goes. I mean, all of the stuff in the movies, they steal from the comic books, and then they act like it's their own ideas. But the comic books executed it all significantly better. So, the whole android becoming pseudo-self-aware and repairing itself and becoming better, those are all ideas that were explored in comic books, and they were executed way better in the comic books as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you really want to watch or get some good alien lore, go, invest in the Dark Horse comic books and for the Alien versus Predator, or just Aliens. Aliens Labyrinth, Aliens Defiance. There's a lot of good stuff out there. The comic books are really pretty darn good. And again, you'll be able to see, if you watch all the Aliens movies, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that was executed way better in these comic books than it was ever done in the films. So, yeah, especially the later films, especially 3 and Resurrection. And even this one, too, again, playing with some of the themes of AI becoming aware and all that. So, again, if you haven't seen Alien Romulus, I would definitely recommend it. Go check it out. It's an enjoyable watch. It does get a little bit weird at the end, but they all kind of do to some degree. So, and again, I guess a big issue I have with the Aliens is like, because, with Alien, it's like you never really got a sense of how long things were happening in between. So I think the gestation period for how long it takes an alien to grow and develop, it's just too short.
Yeah,
especially in this movie, like it's like you have 30 minutes until the station is
destroyed, and the alien is already like deformed. It is already formed into its attack form, whatever you want to call it, its final form within like within less than an hour. You're like, whoa!
It's like, hey, easy there, champ. And I feel like in the movies too, like I mean, like that girl. Like, so this is not a spoiler. In the trailer, you see that girl that's like using the little light to see herself as the chest burster comes out. Like, she has a gestation period of like 5 minutes. Like, it's absolutely insane. Like, it's like you wake up and it's like they wake up from after they've been impregnated by the face huggers, and like some people, like in Resurrection, for instance, it was like hours before that guy had any issues. You know, it's like he's just walking around and like helping people until it's too late and he dies. That girl, literally, it's like she was the face hugger impregnated her, and then all of a sudden it's like 10 minutes later, boom, it's alive and going, and it's already, and then another however couple minutes later, it's already in its warrior form or drone form. It's already adult. So you're just like, this is nuts. Like it's just happening too fast. And again, in Alien, it's like you had like, it's like whenever they go find the cat. You know, it's like, okay, we gotta go find the cat so that whatever that little alien creature around the board doesn't kill it. It's like the next time we see the alien, it's like it's fully grown. It's like who knows how long has taken place between when they ran off to go search for the cat to that
you
point in time.
At least hope at least a few hours have elapsed, not 30 minutes.
Yeah, not literally 30 minutes. So I don't know, but again, it's the perfect organism, so it's like it probably, depending on its situation, it has to,
adapt.
But even in the games, it's like you got to go eat something in order to grow. So it's just like, come on.
Well, that's the other thing too, was it's proven in some of the lore in the books, comics, and games that they can survive. Well, it clearly survived in outer space, but it froze in outer space. How did that happen? Because it can literally survive in outer space. Like, it can run around on the outside of ships, as we've seen in certain aspects of games and comics and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, the Queen survived a trip on the outside of the landing craft to the Sulaco in Aliens.
But it's the same problem with all the Alien movies, is somebody's contradicting somebody else's lore. So James Cameron accidentally destroyed Ridley Scott's lore with the whole like egg situation, because he's like, James Cameron's like, the deleted,
make them like ants.
Exactly, the deleted scene from the original Alien one, where she stumbles in the room and she finds the two people that went missing.
Yeah,
the
Tom Skerritt's character,
and then there's eggs in that room for whatever reason.
Yeah, and he's like morphing into an alien or something like that.
Exactly.
Just because of the goo on the wall or whatever. Yeah, it's very odd. Thank God they didn't go that route with Alien.
And Aliens, like I said, since James Cameron never saw that scene, he's like, okay, well, something laid these eggs, so he decided to come up with his own way, and he, as people will argue, I think came up with the better option of making an alien queen.
Yeah, it's significantly better lore-wise, because that's the whole point. Like, Ridley Scott wanted to keep it ambiguous and be like, it's alien, you don't know, it's so foreign, you don't know what's going to happen when you get touched by this creature. It can do anything, it's just like, I guess from like if he's looking at it from like a horror, like, yeah, we don't know what it's capable of, but it's like, what James Cameron did was that he made it make sense in a better way. It's like,
100%.
Like, so Ridley Scott wanted to play with the mystery and the lore of we don't know what it's capable of, which is why Prometheus turned into such a crap show with the whole alien goo and the alien space Jesus stuff. Like, it was just so poorly done. Yeah. So, like, like high concept executed super poorly, and it's not even really high concept. It's what happens when like people who are like atheists like go, this is a really smart, high energy concept. We'll make him an alien space Jesus, and like he'll like turn himself into goo and sacrifice himself, and then he will be the prototype for what sprung out evolution and on Earth. And you're like, that's really stupid.
And the more you explore the villain or the deity in this case, the less interesting it becomes, is the problem with this. And that's the problem. It's the same thing that Halo had with the Forerunners. Like I said, they have the books, and they kept trying to expand into the Forerunners and the later Halo games. Like, the more we learn about the Forerunners, the more boring they become. Like, like there's a mystery element to who were these people? Why did they do these things? Why are these, objects or artifacts out there? And like, the more you explore into it, the more like it becomes less interesting. And like, so you find out, so the Forerunners are idiots.
Yeah.
Or really bad at their jobs or whatever. Yeah. It's just, the more you explore the cool, interesting factor in any high concept of movie or anything like that, it becomes less interesting.
Yes, absolutely. So, again, Prometheus and then Alien. What was the last thing? Alien Covenant? Not very good.
It was Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then this one, Alien.
Yeah, and then you had the whole, instead of like, exploring human consciousness. You had the David, the AI in Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where it's like David wants to play God because he's disappointed in his own creators, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like lame. It's so lame, you know. It's like I'm sure they all it seems like a cool concept, and then all of a sudden it's like you realize like he's limited by the same things we are, other than the fact that he's an android who has a battery that can last 500 years, you know. It's like, okay, so I don't know. It was lame. It was stupid. Alien Prometheus, not a good movie. Shot very well, very pretty film, but poorly executed. Same with Alien Covenant. You're just like,
and the same thing with this. This one lets you down kind of at the end, but other than that, it's it's hard to end an Alien film. After James Cameron's ending,
crushed
hard
it.
to end
yeah.
one. You know?
Aliens, like they crushed it. Like I mean, and then of course they steal lines from Aliens as well. Like and it's not done as good. It's not done as tastefully. So, you know, but again, you know, they're doing their homages to the greater films of the past.
Yeah. And at least, like I said, speaking of what we were talking about with like Twisters, at least Alien Romulus had a character in it from one of the previous Alien films.
Yes,
which was Ash, the synthetic.
But
it's
a synthetic. So it's like David, you know, or you know Bishop. It's like they're androids, and there's multiple versions of the same. Exactly. So it's not the same.
But that was just my point. Was like at least there's a homage to a prior character from a previous show.
Yes.
Unlike what we talked about the Twisters movie, whereas the only homages were to Bill Paxton's truck and to Dorothy.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, so without going into any more spoiler details, definitely go check out Alien Romulus. I enjoyed the film, but I've also been a huge fan of the Aliens franchise forever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So go check it out if horror and aliens is up your alley. If not, maybe go see more of a kid-friendly film. But that's all I've got for you today. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was our movie review of Alien Romulus. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. That's about all I've got for you. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.